Hello, Teen New Writings family. This is Juwan Buford, broadcasting from the Detroit metropolitan area. And today I want to talk about two topics right off the cuff that have been top of mind for me, especially starting this upcoming month. And it's two issues that have been broached that I want to address here. The first being the importance of edification, right? I've had a couple conversations with associates, whereas they've indicated that they were getting ready to do a three-way call, and the person that they were doing a three-way call with them either cut them off, or they've been doing exposures. They have been doing presentations, but haven't gotten the expected results, right? And it all boils down to one word: edification. And I want you to think about edification like fertilizing the soil. Things can grow in soil, but they grow much better when the soil is fertilized. Sometimes things don't grow at all if the soil isn't fertile enough. And edification is literally the fertilizer for the soil that we are building our businesses in, right? Edification is so important for a million different reasons, but I'm gonna share a brief story with you. So I remember when I first started out as an investment advisor over 20 years ago, I was smart, I was intelligent, gifted, hardworking, all those things. And my colleagues and peers, after observing me for 2 years, because we know only 2% of investment advisors make it, by the way, after a certain period of time. And so they were watching and observe to see if I was made of the right stuff, right? And I remember they repeatedly told me this, how hardworking and impressed they were. And so at some point, they kind of started letting me into the fold, started teaching me some things, giving me access to information, helped become more effective. And one of the most important things they taught me was edification. And what would end up happening is if someone came into the office and an investment advisor was meeting with them, even if the investment advisor oftentimes knew the answers to the questions that the person sitting across the table was asking, even if the person was seasoned, had been there 20 to 30 years or been there 2 or 3 minutes, what they would do after sitting down with them, sharing information, answering a couple questions, and then I wouldn't say they were feigning like they didn't know the answer, though sometimes it became obvious to me they may have been, but they would say, you know what, let me do you a favor. Let me introduce you to someone. And what they would say is, look, this person is highly seasoned, highly effective, has helped households create the American dream, find financial independence and solvency, and worry a lot less about their finances. And you owe it to yourself. Look, I want to make sure that question gets answered because it's so absolutely important to me that you are comfortable and you're educated about our process and how we can possibly be of service. I don't want to misinform you. Give me one moment. And I would watch them do that over and over again, where they would literally edify someone else. Now, look, let me tell you, they never lied about that someone else, but the bottom line is they spoke favorably of them, and they spoke favorably to achieve two things. Number one, they spoke favorably to the person. So when the person came into the office and sat down across from the individual whom the presentation was being given to about the investment and insurance options and strategies and tactics, they wanted, when that person came to the table, that the person just didn't see them as another salesperson. They wanted to see them as educated, somebody who's credible, someone that's elevated, somebody who have achieved, right, and has receipts. Because we hear about these gurus all the time. It's no different 20 years later, right? 20 years ago, you had all these gurus running around talking about they had the answer, like they had a crystal ball, something could predict the market. And so there was always a great degree of skepticism. And so we did that. So when a person came into the office and sat down across from the other person, now they're seen in an elevated way. And the person would literally proceed to answer questions. And, once again, doing the joint appointments, by the way, wink, joint appointments. I'm doing joint appointments who are better and more seasoned than me, despite the fact that oftentimes I was the one bringing the family or the individual or the business owner to the office. I'm there, or I'm participating when they would allow me to in the joint appointments they were running. I'm there listening. I'm watching all this transpire. And I could see how the individual next to the person or on the other side of the table, how they would kind of look up at them, right? And they would have a greater degree of respect and admiration. their posture would change immediately, because here we're talking about, hey, this person's a millionaire club member. They're leading the agency in terms of success and productivity, but more importantly, helping families achieve their goals. Highly credentialed, you owe it to yourself. You got to have a conversation with them, right? And what will end up happening is, once again, the person comes in, gives the answer the same questions, pretty much same presentation, pretty much same information. Sometimes the person, the prospect, the potential client, might even respond different to them, give them different answers, give them different information than they gave the previous person, because they had more respect for them. They felt comfortable in divulging more. So you could almost hear ulterior motives sometimes. One moment the person's talking about how much they love their family, their wife, their kids, and the next you find out, oh, they really want to buy a yacht. They really want to buy a Corvette. They really got a girl on the side. You catch my drift, right? So this is what was going on. And what would end up happening is, because new information was being introduced, the new person, the new investment advisor, had even more data, even more information, even a greater idea will make the person tick. And then they would respond accordingly. And then we end up taking on the client. Now, before the investment advisor, right before the investment advisor would exit the room after having the conversation, basically repeating, regurgitating, saying the exact same things, they would turn back and say, by the way, so-and-so whom you're sitting down with is not going to say much. Very humble, very successful, done very well for themselves. I've had a lot of success, very sharp. You're in great hands. It's been a phenomenal opportunity to mentor and work with that person, and know that you're connected to them, you're connected to me, but know this person is highly competent, works very hard, very honest, very earnest, and you just know you're in a good place with them and know that you can reach out. And then they would leave out the room. And then the investment advisor who was sitting there, who had just been now edified by the person they edified, now the potential client, which 9 times out of 10 of that, now they became a client, now they're paying them respect. Now they're opening up more than they would have before. Now, when a person is sharing information, they're taking it as instruction. They say that the student, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, now the teacher has appeared because the student, the potential prospect, had been made ready, right? And then they were willing to listen and pay attention and follow instructions, sign on dotted line, and process will continue, right? And that's what would typically happen. Now, the other thing that also was helpful in situations like that is we also knew as a firm that people, when they walked in, not only were they oftentimes looking for us for guidance and advice and had a degree of respect and regard for the work that we did, but we also knew people came into the firm oftentimes with an ulterior motive. And it wasn't being sneaky, it wasn't being underhanded, but sometimes the ulterior motive was they're looking for a job, they're looking for occupation, they're looking for a space to work in. We knew a lot of people who were working jobs, they hated the jobs they worked in, they couldn't stand the places where they were at. And the bottom line is they were looking for an alternative. And what we knew is that the best insurance agents were people who respect, appreciate, and love insurance. The best investment advisors were people who respected and loved investment advising, who saw value in the work that we did. And so by us edifying each other, by us speaking well of each other, indirectly, we're communicating to them not only that we're professionals, but this is a great place to work. And look at them, they support each other, they edify each other. I want to be in that environment. What do you mean? You teach each other, you educate, you mentor each other, you're supportive of each other, you're earning money. That person's successful, they're saying you're going to be successful, and they're already assuming, and they're giving you the reason. Oh, and that's where most of our recruits would come from. They would come from individuals who loved insurance, who loved investment, but also dug our culture. And so we knew edification was a huge piece of that, right? And some of you who may be listening to this knew me in my previous life as an investment advisor, and now you know that's what transpired, right? You came into the office. I would introduce you to the office and take a little bit of a tour, right? Give you information about it. We sit down and we talk. And then over 75% of the time, I introduced someone else into the equation. They did what they were supposed to do. I edified them, and then they would edify me, and you ended up becoming a client. It's intentional. And look, you need to understand the power of that. We never had to recruit as investment advisors with the firm I worked with. People saw our culture, they saw our success, they looked at the way we carried ourselves, how we spoke of each other, And that's why they ended up joining 9 times out of 10. It was very rare that anyone was actually recruiting in our office. It just happened. People were attracted to our success, what we're doing, and all other fun stuff, right? And, of course, we're telling our family and friends that we enjoy what we did and how we were helping people as a career. And that attracted potential individuals who not only would end up becoming clients, but also potentially who would also become investment advisors or insurance agents at some point. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, it's the same here. I cannot tell you how many times over the last month I've had individuals. I was actually in a Lyft ride 2 weeks ago, week ago. I had left my appointment book at a restaurant where I met with a client. I get downtown. I'm getting ready to do some work. And look, I'd rather lose my cell phone. I'd rather lose my wallet than my planner. I mean, it's just how I organize my day. And my days get thrown off without my planner. So I panic. Like, I don't have time to get to a car. I don't have time to do whatever. I need to get to my planner right now. I do not want anyone taking possession of my life that's in that planner. So I called up Lyft, like, okay, because I knew they were going to be, I'm downtown Detroit. They're going to be there in like 2 minutes. So I jumped, don't have to walk and to car or nothing. So I get there. On the way there, I'm having a conversation with another business partner, and we're just commiserating, just talking about, how our day is going and what we're excited about, how we're helping people, and we're speaking well of each other. We're hand clapping. Hey, that's congratulations, fantastic job, man. You're crushing it. You should consider A, B, C, and D. And they could hear the feedback going back and forth. And as I picked up my planner, the conversation continued. In the midst of that, I was having a conversation about the mission, right? So this is a person that works in another industry, but we are partners because we partner on different things and we help each other out. And he said, he's like, so, how you feeling about things? I said, man, we're fulfilling the mission. 10,000 households over the course of 10 years becoming employers. And, this is what I'm passionate about. I'm excited about it. Things are going well. I'm leveling up. My team's leveling up. It's just phenomenal. As I get out the car, the person, before I could get out the car, basically turned around, almost tapped me, which is a no-no, right? But he was so assertive, so aggressive. He was like, I can't out this person in my car. He turns around and says, look, I want to hand you my information. Can you give me your information? And let's chat, let's talk. Because I know I have to talk to you. I have to learn about what you all are doing. I need to learn about your team. I did not have a conversation about PPLSI. I was not talking about all our services and all that fun stuff. What he heard was the edification. What he heard was the celebration. What he heard was the culture. And I need you to understand that. That's what edification is about. People at the end of the day want to do business with winners. And they want to join winners. And so if you're not edifying properly, that's part of your problem. I've never in my career as an investigator had someone tell me, no, I don't want to talk to someone who's more seasoned, more experienced, more intelligent, more able to answer my questions. And if they did do that, I wouldn't allow them to do that. I never asked for permission. The last several three-ways I've did with Mr. Quentin Kelly, Mr. Cliff Malloy, several other people, I didn't ask the person permission. They were asking questions. Either I felt like they were better positioned, I was mirror matching, their personalities would match better than mine, or I could sense maybe a little bit of tension, or if it's a friend or family member, I certainly don't want the family member or friend making a decision to get the membership or join the business. I don't want the relationship to impact that. I don't want it to color it. Yeah, I know it sounds weird. I don't want my personal relationships to color whether or not someone becomes a client of mine or if someone decides to join me in business, because it's based on the relationship. I want it to be based on their own sense of business acumen. I want them to make a choice objectively. So if I, at some point, am no longer in the picture, they keep the membership. They continue to build the business. I get into a car accident. I get sick. I get disabled. I need to take a vacation, whatever. Something transpires while I'm not in the picture. They no longer have the relationship with me. They're no longer active. They're no longer building. They're no longer contributing to the organization. They're no longer doing three-ways. They're no longer doing presentations, right? I'm thinking of the future. And if the relationship is predicated upon me, then the business stops growing, right? Three-ways are so absolutely important. I can articulate that to you. I just don't have it happen. I don't have it because of proper edification. Look, when we get on the phone via three-way, when I'm giving a presentation on a Thursday, or whatever day, When I'm interacting with anyone, I immediately know whether or not proper edification is taking place, because I can tell whether or not the person is actually paying me a certain degree of respect. And I don't want like over the top admiration, but I can tell when a person respects me and says, you know what, I need to give this person my attention. Even if I don't agree with this person, even if I don't quote unquote like this person, I need to give them attention because they're obviously doing well. That's what proper edification sounds like. If you are having difficulty with the three-way process and you're having difficulty closing business when you introduce other people to your prospects, you're not edifying. That's all it is to it. You're either not doing it enough or you're not doing it right. And that's the bottom line. And that's why your business is growing slow. That's why you're not getting the results you want. That's why you're not getting yeses. And that's why people aren't being attracted to you, because they're not attracted to the vibrations. They're not attracted to the music you're emanating. Some of us, because we are new to the business model, there's some anxiety and fear. I get that. But some of us are drinking our own Kool-Aid. And now the well's running dry. Things aren't as easy as it used to be because you're getting slowly but surely outside of your warm market. It's starting to cool off a little bit. And because you're not edifying, no one's turning around and edifying you. So people who are a little bit further away from you will respect you more, have more regard for you, trust you more, or they're not making decisions independently of you. And if your music isn't right, that means their music is going to be a reflection of you, as opposed to it being a reflection of how wonderful the company, opportunity to service, and chance to actually change their lives is with us. That's what's going on. You have to have confidence. Your bat, your ball. You're not going to walk into a doctor's office. The doctor sends in a nurse and says, hey, we need to ask questions. You say, nah, I don't want to answer those questions. Just give me the medication. Give me the procedure. You're going to get kicked out that office. It's their office. It's their business. It's their ball. It's your business. It's your ball. No one can dictate to you how to build your business. I wish somebody would tell me, nah, I don't want to talk to her. What? Last time I checked, smart people make decisions based on 100% information, not a snippet. Okay? And especially if you're brand new right now, that's all you have is a snippet. You got people who are qualifying executive director, people who've written thousands of memberships, had $10,000 a day in the business, and you don't want. Anyway, I digress. So that's the challenge. You have to learn edification. It fertilizes the soil. It creates a situation where, number one, people you know and don't know are more likely to do business with you for the right reasons. Secondly, you never know what a person's going through unless you're laying in their bed in the middle of the night and waking up first in the morning, eating cereal with them, or drinking milk and eating eggs. You don't know what their financial situation is. People don't necessarily volunteer their darkest secrets, even if they're friends of yours. They could be praying for an opportunity like this. They might be looking for a culture like this. They might be looking for an opportunity. I cannot tell you how many people I've talked to today who are earning six figures, earning just under six figures, above 100K per year, and they hate their jobs. They're looking for a landing spot where they can earn grown adult income and feel good about the environment that they're in and the people that they work with. And, let me tell you this too, as I wrap up here. Sometimes when we were edifying each other in that office, in that agency, understand, as investment advisors, insurance, a highly competitive dog-eat-dog world, right? Look, in our business, you're fortunate in the sense that because you're in business for yourself, you're not by yourself. It's one of the rare environments you're going to be in where people actually applaud your success hard on their own. Exact opposite in corporate America. We were trying to eat each other's lunch because it was competitive. It was only so much room at the top. Whereas exact opposite of our business, right? Our business is not this. Our business is like backwards, right? It's more like this. There's more room at the top than at the bottom. That's how our business model is set up. Corporate America is the exact opposite. Whereas it's really like this. So we were competing to get to the top, which means we had to win at somebody else's expense. So we did not like each other. We had beefs. We were talking about each other. It was beef. It was conflict. It was tension in the office all the time. But we were smart enough to understand that edification would create a situation where people would be attracted to our culture anyway. And even if we didn't like each other, we still edified each other. Even if we had conflicts, we still edified each other. We still support each other to the extent that it was necessary to build a successful business. and to build a successful environment and to build a successful firm. We understood that we're only strong as the weakest link. So we had to edify everybody so the reputation of the firm continued to rise, right? But if you're acting like a solopreneur, where you're only thinking about yourself, your feelings, your reputation, how you look, you don't open up a million Starbucks all over the place thinking you're going to run it yourself. You're not going to build a big business by yourself. It requires team. And this is how you play team. That's the other thing I guess I'd want to end with. That's why the edification piece is important. So I hope this served you well. There was another talk I wanted to give, but I looked up and I went in on this one. But it was necessary. I think this was more important than the next topic I want to address, but we'll get around to that. As always, I celebrate success in advance. Goodbye for now.